All right. Thought I'd do just a quick video here. So we got a logger's tape, obviously that we measure our logs with. The problem with it, they get kinks on the end and they'll break. I don't know. There's no way to get around that. I don't think. You buy a new one, and it comes with a plastic end riveted on here, which helps. But then it just seems like it moves the kink further up the line, and they just wear out. So we've had loggers tapes, Spencer loggers tapes, and those are okay too. I just think these are easier to change. You don't really need a whole lot of tools or anything. So basically, all it is there's a clip right here, and that allows you can spin that around, and that's how you tighten the spring inside to also recoil the tape. But basically, you need to turn it until those outer tabs line up with the outer slots, and you can either spin it all the way around, or you can actually push down on this little tab and you can spin it backwards too. But it seems like right here is where it lines up, and it's kind of a tight tolerance, so you got to kind of work at it a little bit. But once you get that lined up, it'll pop off. There it goes. So there's your covers off now. So now all you got to do is take this little gear out, set him off to the side, and then this is the spool mechanism. This whole thing will pop right out, and this is where the tape is spooled on, and you unspool it. So there it is. Obviously used tape. So I'm gonna unspool this tape off of here, and I'll show you what it's how it hooks on in the center. One other item. So I pulled that off, and you got to take this. There's an outer plate that comes off, so you take that off as well. Okay, so now we're back. You can see right in there, there's a little tab that holds the end of that tape on. What it does, it goes up through kind of a little keeper right here. You see it kind of goes up to that keeper, and then around and into that little tab that holds it. So basically, you just gotta kind of fish that through to loosen it up a little bit. And then a small pair of needle nose pliers usually works pretty good. Might have to push enough out so you can actually push it back. Sometimes it's a little bit stuck just because it's been under tension. But that one, see how it popped off? Probably don't need the pliers. Nope, came right off. So you just take that out. So now you got the old tape out. So now we'll get ready to put the new one in. Okay, so now I hear a brand new tape, and there's a piece of masking tape that's holding it together. I try to leave that on as much as I can. This one will kind of explode on you, so you got to kind of keep a hold of it a little bit. So, but unwrap some of it enough so you have enough to work with. Sometimes it's helpful to have two people just to help hold this thing, but like I say, if you can keep that masking tape somewhat on there, that helps. But of course, the middle wants to come out too. So usually I'll set that off to the side and try to set something on it to kind of hold it in place. So then you have your tape, and what you're going to need to do is you need to put that, this is going to obviously go on this piece, but this has to go in here. So you got to thread it through the outer casing and then onto this, and then set that in so it threads up onto the tape. If you put it on out here, you won't be able to get it back into the tape itself. So on the bottom here, there's a couple different slots. Generally, I'll put it just in this slot here next to the roller. Maybe you could put it in the slot too, but I think this is the right place to put it, or where we have put it in the past. So you thread it through that slot, like so. and then you got to fish it onto this back onto the spool. So again, you're gonna have to go through this keeper or this tab like that. Give it a little bit extra, and then come around, and you have to get it down onto that other tab right there, like that, and just pull it back tight, and you're in. And depending on what kind of tape you have, I mean, you want to pay attention to how it's spooling on. This one here is the same on the front and the back, in terms of the markings on it. It's the same on the front and the back, so it really doesn't matter. But if you had one side that was a D tape, one side that was just a regular tape, you'd want to pay attention to that. So once you get that all set, you're just going to put that spool back in, like that. And then you're going to want to bring on your the plate that goes on the outside of that gear. You want to put that back in, and that goes upright. So you have the hook you would hook on a belt or something, and this little tab piece goes towards that. And you gotta get the gears lined up a little bit so it sets in. So now you're all set with that. So now the next piece is you gotta get this cover back on. And the best thing I found to do is take your gear that you took off, and this sits in here like that. But you need to get it lined up with this outer cover, and it goes in, but then it you gotta turn it. There's a little square edge or flat edge that will fit down in there. There it goes. So you can see it. It's not in, and there it slides in. So you gotta get in there like that. Then you basically tip that back up and put it in that hole, and just gently turn it. And again, you gotta get these tabs lined up so they'll fit down in right there. Again, you might have to work it a little bit, but there it goes. It just clipped in. And so now you're all set. You have your tape put back together, and your tape's thread in and it's hooked in. So now you turn this, when you're looking at it, turn it clockwise. And as you do that, it's going to wind that spring, and it'll start to suck that tape in. So you just keep winding it to put tension on it. As the tape comes in, the spring will unwind, but it pulls it in. You just heard it go. So anyways, so I'm gonna spool the rest of this on, and this is where it kind of helps to have two people, because obviously you're trying to unspool that tape and put it in here. So generally what I'll do is I'll try to unspool the tape in a spot where I can have some distance, and then just crank this up and just let it come in natural. So all right, we're gonna work on that. Okay, so I got that tape strung out across the floor, so it's unrolled. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm gonna just turn this. You'll hear that spring go, and that tape will start sucking in, and it'll go in so far, and then you just keep cranking it. Again, counterclockwise, and it'll keep coming in. And what this is designed to do, that little tab right there, when you finally get the tension you want, wherever that clicks out, and then it can't go back, and it holds that spring. So just keep cranking it. You see it pulls right in. And near the end, that's that piece of tape that was on there. Get that out of the way. So there it is, and again, this plastic's got a little memory in it, but then you're gonna want to, after you get it all in, you want to keep on cranking it to tension that spring up, so it's got good pull. So it pulls that back up in there. So there's the tape back together, and like I said, once you even once you get it all in, just keep on cranking it, because you want that to have some pretty good tension on it, so it'll pull back in. So now I've cranked it a fair amount. You can see it's, of course I'm doing it on this bench, so it's getting hung up a little bit, but you see it pulls back in now. And that memory of that plastic on the end, that'll get stretched out over time. It won't be a problem. So that's how you replace tape and Husqvarna tape. If anybody else has got any tricks on that, leave a comment, because it can be a little tricky sometimes. Of course, you don't want to kink your new tape right out of the bat. So, but anyways, once you get in the field, that's the other nice thing about these tapes. If you're in the field and you're recoiling back good, I mean, you just got to crank on it and it comes back. And then you see that tab that just flicks up and sets in on whatever notch that you end on. So, okay. Till the next one.